Hey everybody, before we get into today's episode, here's a quick dose of modern science before today's episode. Debloat by Lumo is a supplement that combines digestive enzymes and probiotics, two powerful tools that help the body digest food more efficiently and reduce bloating. It's easy to take, just one capsule within 20 minutes of eating, and it's made with only four ingredients: tempeh, papaya, pineapple, and soybean.
Use code info on the go at trylumo.co for 15% off. You can find the link in the show notes. Hi, I'm William,
And I'm Kat,
and that means this is info on the go.
answering questions you want to know. So, William, do you pay taxes?
Why? What did you hear? Yeah, I pay taxes.
Oh, me too, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
Oof. Like most Americans, are you concerned about Social Security?
um, yes and no. There is an issue with funding it, but I think there's time to fix it as long as we can get our congressional leaders to start taking a look at it now. I believe it can be fixed before it gets too far out of control.
Today on Info on the Go, the future of Social Security.
I think we should start with the history of Social Security first. What do you think?
I would agree to fully understand what was the United States like before Social Security. Before the Social Security Act was passed in 1935, the United States faced a number of challenges with regard to economic security. By 1932, unemployment was at 34% of the non agricultural workforce. Many Americans lost their life savings during the Great Depression, and many seniors were in extreme poverty. Most people worked until they or their employer decided they could no longer work. Fewer than 10% of workers had a private pension plan, and many states provided a small pension for seniors, but these plans were inadequate and had restrictive eligibility criteria.
So, before Social Security was there, 401ks were non-existent. And, I feel like we should do one on 401ks too. I know we got IRAs and Roth IRAs coming up, but I feel like that should be on its own episode too. But so basically, what you're saying here is most Americans weren't saving any money. And basically, when they quit working, that was it.
Right.
So we should say during this time, the FDIC was established by Congress in 1933 in response to the many bank failures that occurred during the Great Depression. The FDIC insurance is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. And I guess I should explain what the FDIC is. It is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Um, it it is an independent agency of the United States government that protects depositors' money in the event of a bank failure. The FDIC insures deposits up to $250,000 per depositor. I know everybody has been to the bank and they've seen the little sign that says FDIC insured $250,000.
Right.
Um, that's where that came from. So the FDIC examines and supervises financial institutions for safety, soundness, and consumer protection. It also manages the resolution of failed banks, as we saw as recently as a few years ago.
Right. In response to these challenges, President Franklin D. Roosevelt established a Committee on Economic Security in 1934 to develop proposals to prevent economic insecurity. The committee's proposal for compulsory contributory insurance for seniors became a part of the Social Security Act.
President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the Social Security Bill into law on August 14th, 1935, only 14 months after sending a special message to Congress on June 8th, 1934, that promised a plan for social insurance as a safeguard against the hazardous and um, fictitious, you know, what was going on. The 32-page act was the accumulation of work begun by committee on economic security, the CES, created by the president on June 29, 1934, and became, as he said at the signing ceremony, a cornerstone in a structure which is being built but is by no means complete. Wow, a cornerstone in structure which is being built but is by no means complete. That is a
Right.
pretty powerful statement.
Right. The Social Security Act introduced two key provisions for old age security. The first was federal assistance to states. This enables states to provide cash pensions to elderly individuals in financial need, offering immediate relief to destitute seniors. The second was federal old age benefits. This system established a preventative measure to reduce future dependency among the elderly and assured workers that their years of employment would entitle them to a steady income in retirement.
For individuals under age 65, Title II of the Act created an old age reserve account, authorizing the payment of old age benefits to eligible individuals upon reaching age 65 or on January 1st, 1942, whichever came later. Monthly benefit amounts were calculated based on total wages earned in covered employment between 1936 and age 65. The initial benefit formula favored lower paid workers and those who were already middle aged or older, providing them with a proportionally larger benefit. The minimum monthly benefit was set at $10, while the maximum was set at $85.
Geez.
Yeah.
Only the first $3,000 of annual wages from any one employer was considered in calculating the benefits under the Social Security Act. At the time, fewer than 10% of workers in commerce and industry earned more than this amount. However, many groups were excluded from coverage, including self employed individuals, agricultural and domestic workers, casual laborers, employees of nonprofit organizations, and those governed by the Railroad Retirement Act of 1935.
And just to put that in perspective, the minimum monthly benefit of $10 in today's money would be roughly $235. So, it's pretty significant.
Right.
I mean, it could be life-changing if you didn't have any income coming in for sure. The act did not initially provide monthly survivors benefits. Instead, workers who had earned less than 2,000 in covered wages by age 65 received a lump sum payment equal to 3.5% of their total wages. Similarly, if a worker died before reaching age 65, their estate was paid as a lump sum, amounting to 3.5% of their covered earnings. Mm.
Unemployment compensation was envisioned by the Committee of Economic Security as a crucial front line of defense against dependency caused by loss of earnings. It aimed to maintain purchasing power through temporary cash payments to the involuntarily unemployed. The Social Security Act established a federal state cooperative system where states with laws approved by the Social Security Board could receive federal financial assistance. At the time, only Wisconsin had an unemployment program, but the federal law incentivized other states to create their own programs.
Programs for children and public welfare. The Act also introduced four programs recommended by the CES to promote child health and welfare, providing grants and aid to states for aid to dependent children, marital and child health services, services for crippled children, and child welfare services. Vocational rehabilitational received payments authorization, strengthening a 1920 law, and the act added a program for aiding needy blind individuals. Public health services were expanded from 8 million allocated to states for establishing and maintaining public health infrastructure, including personal training And an additional 2 million was designated for public health investigations by the Public Health Service, tripling federal public health expenditures and broadening preventive health services nationwide. So the health department was born.
Right. Administration and leadership. The Social Security Act created the Social Security Board as an independent agency rather than as a part of the Department of Labor as the CES had proposed. The SSB was tasked with administering old age assistance, old age benefits, unemployment compensation, and aid to dependent children and the blind. The Children's Bureau and the Department of Labor continued overseeing maternal and child health services for crippled children and child welfare. Public Health and Vocational Rehabilitation Administration remain unchanged.
The original retirement age for Social Security was 65 years old for both men and women. The age of 65 was chosen because it was generally considered the most acceptable age for retirement. The Committee on Economic Security thought that 60 was too low and 70 was too high. The amount of benefits a person received depended on how much they earned in wages between January 1st, 1937 and their 65th birthday. To receive benefits, a person had to have worked at least one day in each of 5 years after 1936 and earned at least 2,000 during that time.
Full retirement age for Social Security benefits is 67 years old for people born in 1960 or later. You can start receiving Social Security benefits as early as age 62, but your benefit amount will be reduced. If you delay claiming benefits past your full retirement age, your benefit amount will increase until you reach age 70.
And you can check that out on socialsecurity.gov with your social security number and see where you're at and what your benefits are. It's a great tracker. It's different for every individual, so we didn't include any of that. You really need to look it up on your own. All right, so now let's talk about funding issues with Social Security. In 1983, Social Security faced a number of funding issues. The Social Security trust funds had short-term cash flow problems due to the poor economy in the 70s, or 1970, I guess I should say. The old age and survivor insurance trust funds balance were only one-third of its peak in 1975. By 1982, the trustees projected that the fund would be insolvent by July 1983. The program was vulnerable to economic downturns because assets in the trust funds were only 26% of annual program outlays in 1979.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
AI can feel overwhelming, right?
Every day there's a shiny new tool, another hype, another headline. But where should you actually start? What's working for other businesses? And what types of AI really matter for your company?
That's exactly what we unpack on the Beginner's Guide to AI. Each episode blends insightful conversations with business leaders and easy to follow explainer episodes to help you navigate the AI landscape with confidence.
Tune in to Beginner's Guide to AI wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. The SSB warned that Social Security would be unable to continue paying full benefits in July 1983 unless policymakers acted. To address these issues, Congress passed the 1983 Social Security Amendments, which included Congress passed legislation in 1981 to allow interfund borrowing among three trust funds. The 1983 amendments extended this authority until the end of 1987. The legislation included provisions to increase revenues. The legislation also included provisions to limit future expenditure growth. This is the amount of spending in retirement. The legislation added up to 50% of Social Security benefits to taxable income for taxpayers whose total income exceeded certain thresholds.
So in 1983, Social Security faced imminent insolvency, with only months remaining to address the crisis and ensure promised benefits could be paid. Today's situation, while less urgent, still requires attention. The system is projected to pay full benefits for at least another decade. but the changes needed now are significantly larger than those enacted in 1983. Delaying action further will necessitate even more drastic measures.
The 1983 reforms were designed to secure solvency through 2060. However, weaker than expected economic performance and higher disability claims resulted in larger deficits, moving the projected date of trust fund depletion forward to 2034. Even at the time, it was recognized that additional adjustments would eventually be necessary. While the reforms provided 75 years of solvency, they did not account for the rising deficits caused by the retirement of the baby boomer generation, leaving the program on an unstable long-term trajectory.
So, yeah, I mean, so you have more people filing disability, which they didn't account for, then more people filing for Social Security, which they accounted for, but didn't really think about the economy's downturn. That's basically what that says. The
Right.
ex the experience of 1983 underscores the importance of acting sooner rather than later. So that's back to my statement when we started this. Yeah, there is a concern. Our lawmakers have time now to really start thinking about it and how to fix it.
And they got 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. And they started in what, 81 trying to fix it for 83. They have 9 years now. They can start working on it now. Uh,
Right.
early action spreads the cost of adjustments across more generations, allowing for gradual implementation of policy changes. Additionally, the crisis highlighted the value of maintaining a financial cushion to prevent future funding shortfalls during economic downturns. This can involve building a larger trust fund or granting authority to draw on general revenues when needed.
Proactive reforms can ensure the long-term stability of Social Security, avoiding the need for last-minute measures and providing greater security for current and future beneficiaries. Now, with that said, let's talk about Social Security at the time of this recording. Social Security is expected to be around in 20 years. However, the program's financial outlook is complex and depends on a number of factors, including demographic and economic assumptions.
So at the time of this recording, projected outcome 2035, the Social Security Administration, SSA, of 2024 trustees report projects that the trust fund reserves will become insolvent, but Social Security will still exist. Without congressional action, retirees will only receive 83% of their full benefits. 2041, the Social Security Administration estimates that the trust funds will be depleted, but there will still be enough funds to pay about 780 per every 1,000 in scheduled benefits. That's, I mean, yeah, you pay into something for so long and you receive, you know,
$1,000 for your troubles.
yeah, basically.
Mm. So that's not
So,
looking very promising for me. I guess I'm going to be
no,
working
uh,
forever.
and I'm going to be, my retirement age is projected to what, about 15 years from now. Hey, maybe you'll have the podcast to follow on. You're just going to have to find another co-host. I'm sure I'm replaceable.
Um, I'd prefer not to think about such
I mean, we just
downtrodden
got started, right?
times. We just got started, so it should maybe hopefully take off somewhere. But I don't really want to have to find a new partner. So
Same. Oh, I appreciate that. That makes me feel all good.
warm and fuzzy and stuff.
For sure.
Congress and the executive branch will step up to make necessary changes to avoid depletion. Others say that the actual actuarial
Yes.
deficit is large enough that averting depletion under current law financing is unlikely. Some ways to fix the program include trimming benefits, increasing the Social Security payroll tax, and raising the cap on payroll taxes.
You can maximize your Social Security benefits by claiming them later, up to age 70. For every year you wait to claim, your monthly Social Security benefits increase by about 8%. Again, They're a little different for everybody. You should get into SSI, Social Security Administration.gov and take a look at your individual plan.
Right. In conclusion, Social Security remains a cornerstone of the U.S. social safety net, ensuring financial support for retirees, disabled individuals, and families of deceased workers. While its financial challenges are not as immediate as those faced in 1983, addressing these issues sooner rather than later is crucial to preserving its stability for future generations like myself.
Yes. Proactive reforms such as adjusting benefits, increasing payroll taxes, or raising the taxable earnings cap can help secure the program's longevity. Additionally, encouraging individuals to delay claiming benefits when possible can maximize their lifetime payouts and ease the program's financial burden.
Social Security's enduring success depends on a balanced approach that protects beneficiaries while adapting to demographic and economic shifts. By acting promptly, policymakers can safeguard this vital program, ensuring that it continues to provide economic security for decades to come.
Now, time for our PSA. We are not financial planners. Need to make that a point. Uh, you know, there are some things you can do to help prepare for retirement. So, we're just going to talk a little bit about those. We're not financial planners. We're just going to give you some avenues that you can go down. By all means, talk to a banker or a financial planner, or check out our future IRA, Roth IRA episode for other financial means. We're going to go, we're going to talk about them, but we're really going to get in depth on them on our episode. So, that being said, saving for retirement often involves contributing to retirement savings accounts such as a 401k through your employer or individual retirement account like a IRA that you can open independently. These accounts offer valuable tax advantages, helping your contributions and investment earnings grow over time. For instance, a 401k allows employees to have a portion of their paycheck automatically deducted and invested, often with additional contributions from the employer. On the other hand, IRAs available in traditional and Roth options provide a flexible alternative for those who may not have access to an employer sponsored plan. Both options are designed to help and build a secure financial foundation. And I'll let you talk about your part, and I'll talk a little bit more about 401ks.
Retirement accounts also offer various tax benefits depending on the account type. Contributions to a traditional 401k or IRA are typically tax deductible, and investment earnings grow tax deferred until retirement withdrawals. Roth accounts, by contrast, feature after tax contributions, enabling tax free withdrawals in retirement. Additionally, these accounts offer diverse investment options such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or exchange traded funds, allowing you to tailor your portfolio based on your financial goals and risk tolerance. By taking advantage of these features, you can strategically build and grow your savings to support your future retirement income. Now we should do a whole show on IRAs and different types of plans.
It's coming. It's already scheduled. And there we'll talk about the differences between IRAs, Roth IRAs, the benefits, um, the disadvantages. But to 401ks, we didn't include this, but a lot of employers offer a match up to a certain percent. If you work for a company that offers that, you should take advantage of it because that's basically free money. So if they offer 3% match, you should definitely put 3% in the 401k because you just doubled your money. I
Right.
mean, it's that simple. But yeah, I do agree. And like I said, we do have it scheduled for I don't know how far it's going to be after this episode releases, but it's on the books to be done.
Right, right.
That, that's
So
all I
we'll get
have.
there.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So we'll get there with the financial plannings. And it doesn't just have to deal with retirement. I mean, it's something you can help your income now too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you'd like to support this podcast,
Click the support link in the show notes.
William, I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Join the Facebook group at Info on the Go,
Share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
Subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Email us at
infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com.
that is a mouthful. Till next time.
Stay curious.
This Mother's Day, give a gift that is truly special, one that captures memories, preserves love, and lasts for generations.
With Tellmail.ai, you can turn your cherished memories into a timeless keepsake. It's simple. Each call unlocks new chapters, bringing to life the moments, laughter, and wisdom that defines your family's history.
After every conversation, Mel carefully transcribes and edits the stories into beautifully written memoir chapters, which can be shared with your family.
These chapters can be compiled into a stunning hardcover book or a digital keepsake, ensuring that your family's legacy is never lost.
This Mother's Day, give more than just a gift. Give the magic of storytelling, a legacy that will be cherished for generations. Start today at tellmail.ai.